China's once thriving economy is collapsing into crisis. Across the country, stores are shuttering at a frenzied pace while retailers stagger under mounting losses and unpaid debts. The scenes of economic wreckage point to a nation in free fall as the Communist Party loses control over the economy it long used to cement its grip on power. The unraveling retail sector foreshadows broader turmoil as the social contract binding the government and citizens rapidly disintegrates. China's retail meltdown heralds the end of an era. Over 4,000 stores closed in first half of 2023. China's retail industry has faced major upheaval in the first half of 2023, with over 4,000 stores closing down across the country. At the same time, 2,250,900 retail-related companies closed down, up 45.03% year-on-year, according to incomplete statistics by Xi'an Business. At least 4,181 physical retail stores were unable to continue operations into the second half of 2023. Supermarkets were among the hardest hit, with at least 692 closures across 22 brands. Not only that, the apparel sector saw 1,851 store closures, with traditional brands like Peacebird, Samir, and Helan Home shutting over 1,400 locations combined. The catering sector saw 564 closures across 15 brands, with steep declines among formerly hot concepts. This is an underground mall in Yuanjing. All of the shops here are closed. There is no foot traffic. The elevators are also empty. The economy is in recession? I'm here today delivering goods. Previously, there were many hot pot restaurants here, but now, as you can see, they are all empty with not a soul. All closed down. You see, completely empty without a single person. China's retail industry is struggling amid a broader economic downturn. GDP growth plummeted from 8.45% in 2021 to just 3% in 2022. This slowdown stems from tighter monetary policy, prolonged COVID lockdowns, a real estate crisis, and weakening exports. As uncertainty climbs, consumer confidence and discretionary spending have declined sharply. This is evident across China's massive retail sector, with empty shops, malls, and widespread closures. Major chains like Suning and Carrefour are shuttering hundreds of outlets. In 2015, Goldman Sachs predicted that China's economy would bottom out and rebound. However, the reality was contrary to the experts' predictions. From 2015 to 2023, 2 Walmart supermarkets in Manzhan closed, 1 Carrefour supermarket closed, and 1 Hai supermarket closed. 3 supermarkets have closed. 2 Yongwei supermarkets have closed. 1 Auchan supermarket has been transferred to RT Mart, and now China Resources Suguo supermarket is in the same situation again. China's economy is stabilizing and improving, but does this look like China's economy is getting better? China's retail sales plunge amid economic downturn. Yonghui supermarket, which accompanied us for over a decade, has also closed. I vaguely remember coming here to shop every weekend, carrying large and small bags, climbing up and down the steps on my way home. The surrounding shops have also closed. Even the large menswear shop downstairs has closed and relocated. This makes things difficult. Early in the morning, many customers were very surprised when faced with a temporary business notice outside the Qinchenhui store of Hanchi Fresh Lifestyle Supermarket on Building Materials City West Road, Haidian. Many people have not spent all the money in their stored value cards, and some even have a balance of tens of thousands. Everyone can only queue up to register information at the property office on the second basement floor. The abrupt closures of major retail chains like Yonghui Supermarket and Hanxi Fresh Lifestyle Supermarket highlight the struggles facing China's retail industry amid broader economic downturn. Customers drawn to these stores for regular shopping trips over many years have been left surprised and disappointed. Shanghai Dinaway shopping malls are closing down also. The closure of numerous malls, like Shanghai's Dinouei shopping mall, further demonstrates the rapid decline of in-person shopping across China's cities. While the Chinese government has expressed optimism in public remarks, the CCP even recently released data showing that total retail sales of consumer goods rose 7.6% in April compared to a year earlier. Yet, the reality of mass closure signals fault in this report. We will let our viewers decide the validity of the claim. China's retail disaster. Fall of large supermarkets. China's once thriving supermarkets and stores are now unraveling, buffeted by a massive storm of store closures, financial losses, and unpaid debts. Major chains are shuttering outlets at a breathless pace while struggling with depleted revenues and ballooning IOU. Funning, the country's largest electronics retailer, just a few years ago closed 300 stores in just 9 months, a staggering pace for a national powerhouse. The scene we are witnessing is the second floor of the Suning Plaza. On this side, 3 or 4 shops are currently closed, and above, you can see signs displaying rental contact numbers. Today is Sunday, yet the 3rd and 4th floors are scarcely populated. The entire mall appears lifeless, a stark contrast to its former bustling atmosphere. As you can see, Suning Plaza is deserted, and almost all the shops are closed. French hypermarket chain Carrefour, which boasted over 200 locations in China, closed 106 stores in 2022 alone, retreating rapidly from what was once a highly coveted growth market. Carrefour has closed 3 stores in 2 days. When being asked for a refund, a customer service response, "Cannot refund, you can go to other stores to make purchases." Yonghui Superstores, a leading supermarket chain, has shuttered a disastrous 442 stores compared to its 2019 peak of 1444 stores. The free fall illustrates shifting fortunes as Yonghui reckons with overcapacity and consumers who are no longer splurging on groceries. Appliance and electronics chain Gome has also been forced to close numerous outlets after racking up over $5 billion in losses in recent years. The closures result from both Gome's financial mismanagement and the broader pullback in discretionary purchases. Behind the mass closures are deepening financial woes. Despite its scale, Suning reported a 20% drop in Q3 operating income along with a $93 million net loss. Yonghui saw revenues fall 12% in the first 3 quarters of 2022, squeaking out a mere $72 million profit. Crushed by the sales slump, major retailers are buckling under untenable debt loads. Yonghui and Gome have worryingly high debt ratios of 86% and 88.8% respectively. The mounting leverage and shortage of cash reserves restrict their ability to navigate the downturn. With increasingly frugal consumers, retailers are falling behind on supplier payments. Carrefour owes suppliers anywhere from $316,000 to a whopping $5.5 million. Irate suppliers have organized protests pleading for payment after Carrefour reneged on contracts. Retailers are also defaulting on wages amid widespread cash flow issues. Suning employees knelt in front of headquarters, some in tears asking for unpaid wages to afford living expenses and bank loans coming due. The scenes have stoked public outrage. The magnitude of closures, financial wreckage, and overdue payments in China's retail sector reflects the gravity of the economic challenges. As consumer demand withers, retailers are scrambling to avoid insolvency while also expected to pay employees, suppliers, and creditors. An impossible predicament with no easy solutions. More turmoil likely lies ahead. Major factors for China downturn. Several factors are weighing on consumption nationwide. The COVID-19 pandemic and China's stringent zero-COVID policies continue to deal a blow to consumer sentiment and activity. April's steep retail contraction also reflects the debilitating economic impact of lockdowns in Shanghai and other major cities. Consumers are growing increasingly worried about job security and income amid a weaker employment outlook. According to LinkedIn, from 2020 to 2023, the annual difference between the number of new jobs created and the number of fresh graduates was 249 million, 2.2 billion, 4.49 million, and 5.82 million, respectively. This means that over 15 million new graduates in these years were unable to find employment immediately, although it's possible that a significant portion of them resolved their employment issues after a delay. The average number of employees in A-share listed companies decreased by 11.9% in the past 3 years. The enterprise deregistration rate was approximately 10% last year. This indicates that around 10% of the employed workforce, which amounts to approximately 25 million young people, experienced layoffs or unemployment. Additionally, since the outbreak of the pandemic, over 14 million young migrant workers have returned to their hometowns due to unemployment. Therefore, the cumulative number of unemployed youth out of 16 to 40 in the past 3 years is estimated to be around 54 million. With this level of unemployment surging around China, it is not hard to understand why many supermarkets have to close. High levels of household debt are also deterring spending. According to a recent survey by the People's Bank of China, the debt-to-income ratio for Chinese urban residents has risen to 92.7% since 2021. Zhu Xiaoping, a Chinese economist and financial commentator, also worked as a senior executive at several major banks and financial institutions, stated in one of his shows, "In our society, at least half of the population is burdened with personal debt. Under normal circumstances, these debts are manageable with regular income. However, the issue arises when individuals find themselves unable to repay their debts. This includes situations where credit card debts become insurmountable. In such cases, a personal bankruptcy system becomes essential. Currently, a significant number of people, especially the younger generation born in the 1980s, 1990s, and 2000s, have developed a habit of spending beyond their means due to higher prices of goods and services in every sector. Many individuals are in debt by tens or even hundreds of thousands. The pullback in consumer spending is broad-based, spanning both big-ticket items and daily discretionary purchases. For example, auto sales plummeted 47.6% in April due to plant closures and low demand. Home appliances and furniture sales also saw double-digit declines. Consumer caution is evident in falling sales at restaurants, movie theaters, tourist destinations, and other hospitality and entertainment venues. Catering revenues retreated 22.7% last month. The slump in discretionary spending on dining out, travel, and leisure activities reflects constrained household budgets. Today, the entire catering industry has undergone a drastic transformation. Consider a restaurant with an investment of $2 million painstakingly managed for a year. Just yesterday, the owner, with tears in his eyes and a heart bleeding in agony, demolished all the decor and equipment with a hammer. It was a heart-wrenching moment, truly indescribable. To all the restaurant owners out there, if your establishment is not turning a profit and is losing tens of thousands every month, coupled with the continuously rising rent, how long can you sustain it? A month, 2, or 3? The real horror isn't just the monthly losses, but the gradual erosion of your fighting spirit and the courage to face challenges and learn from mistakes. Overall retail sales growth during the first 4 months of 2022 was just 0.47% compared to the same period last year. But the deterioration in March and April indicates China is losing momentum. The steep drops in monthly retail sales suggest China will struggle to achieve its full-year GDP growth target of around 5.5%, barring a major rebound in consumer demand. Household consumption accounts for over 65% of China's economic growth, yet the recent retail figures confirm consumers have sharply curtailed spending. For China's economy to stabilize and resume stronger growth, consumer confidence and spending power will need to substantially improve. The economic turmoil in China's retail sector underscores a breakdown in the social contract between the Chinese government and citizens. For years, the Communist Party maintained public support through a trade-off of offering economic opportunities in exchange for political control. Strong GDP growth and rising prosperity meant few challenged this bargain. However, as the retail downturn shows, the government is no longer upholding its end of the deal. Widespread closures, job losses, and reduced incomes point to dimming prospects for upward mobility.